Power Query from, although it's primarily belonging to Power BI, part of Power BI, you could even access it from Excel. I would have told you that yesterday. So for that reason only, I have opened a blank Excel workbook for you all. We are in the Home tab. I'm going to the Data tab. The left hand corner, or the left hand corner tab or ribbon, let me say it's ribbon, not tab. Tab is Data tab. Your ribbon is Get and Transform Data. So even if you want to import data from various data sources onto Excel, you may do. You have got different options over here. Few are very much given in, like kind of which people might be using quite often. It's given here. You could import the data from a text is notepad. Okay. TXT means notepad. CSV, just a minute. So your TX text is nothing but notepad.txt. CSV is comma separated values. Your comma separate. It's also like you can, in general, comma separated values. That particular file is being opened through a text like a notepad in general, or even through a notepad plus plus or a text editor, any of those. But you could even open it from an Excel workbook also. You may do that. Anyway, you could import a live data from web I say like Wikipedia or Amazon, just for example I'm giving you, or maybe Yahoo Finance. Some people have very they are much into the shares, the NSE, BSE and all. They want to know the stock values day after day. They do keep a track of the stocks. So if you want to really download, download is not the correct word, but I'll just say that import. Okay. You want to import the data from that live, like Yahoo Finance, you could do that from web. Yes, I'll be showing you that web as well, all of these options, but just to make you acquainted with the Power Query from the Excel end. Okay. And a table range, like table or range is entirely from the Excel perspective. Like Excel data could be given in a range of cells, like a normal, very like you have been given some a small table, like a say maybe a matrix kind of format, 2 rows, 3 columns like that. That is a normal range. Or you could be given in an Excel format, like a table format. So all of those are there. Any recent, like favorites will be there, na? We any web page we try to open, or we just try to open our Google also. Any whenever we launch our browser onto our laptop, we are going to say, and we do have some favorites, right? So these are your recent sources. If you really click onto it, it will show you all those. Maybe it's going to take some time for me. See, it is right. So if I want to really connect to the same data source that I've been working with, I could like, I want to connect to this only. As of now, I could do that. Anyway, that's of the area. These are few options that are given here. Apart from that, you open like get data from file, from an Excel workbook. Somewhere Excel workbook is there. You can open your Windows Explorer is going to open up and you will pick up that particular Excel file you want to connect to. All these options, your XML, JSON, you could even get data from a PDF, an Adobe file, from a folder. Say, suppose a folder is being maintained where you've been like every month data is being put in that particular folder. It's like a common folder. Everyone can access. Okay, you want to access that folder, you want to pick up all the size, maybe all the 12 files. You want to pick up, you want to kind of consolidate them and then work on. You could do that from any databases like your Access database, Azure. These are all Azure one. Then your SQL Server database. Again, Azure specifically also is given. Then your the same things that we have seen here in the top right. your table web, and few more of my from my databases, ODBC and all. A blank query, an empty one also I could do that. Okay. Don't get scared by seeing those words. As the class progresses, each and every word will be more and more clearer to you all. Just listen to it. Okay, you could, if say, suppose I told you that 12 files are there, you want to maybe not connect to a folder, maybe you could just 2 to 3 files are there. Okay, you just want to kind of, or say maybe you're given one Excel workbook wherein some 3 or 4 Excel sheets, like 4 sheets are being maintained, each for 1 year or maybe each for 1 month. You just want to consolidate all of them. So there are two options coming up: merge and append. You will cover all of these. Apart from this, if you want to just launch your Power Query editor, you could do that also from Excel end. If you want to launch your Power Query editor, this is how you're going to do. Okay, now as in going for the architecture of this, one thing will be different from, like, just one slide's difference will be from our Power BI end and our Excel end. Is first is this particular symbol, okay, like that icon. Here it's your Excel icon. There you will see, like in your Power BI file, you open that, and from there you're going to access your Power Query. You are going to see a like Power BI icon. Rest all are same. You have got your tabs over here, 4 tabs. You will see tabs there also. This same 4 tabs will be there. Okay. Your file tab is there wherein you're going to like act. I mean, any kind of transformation is done, any changes. You may, after that, you may just want to save it and move across, like move ahead. You can do that. As of now, it says like your 0 queries. Now, any table, doesn't matter which, no, I won't say table, any data source that you are really connecting to from Power Query Editor, that data source, when the data has been imported to the Power Query editor for me to work on, I will refer to each of those data sources as a query. Okay. That's there. Of course, here you don't have any, as of no query is there. But if I want to, I will show you how to do that. 1 minute. But before that, this is the file that I really want to connect to an Excel workbook. It's in this number 1, connecting with Excel. Okay. So what is this data means? A simple data around, I guess, 3,000 records are there maybe. It's already one Excel workbook is open with a Power Query editor, na? So it won't show me, it won't allow me to navigate here, but I'll just see to it. It's nothing but an employee data. Okay, the name, gender, which department they work in, was their salary, their location, and their hiring date, like start date or hiring date. Uh, yeah, start date or hiring date. You may see over here the first name itself, the first row you're seeing the ablarian. Before AB, you have a space. In department, the first row itself, the first value itself is a null. Salary, third value is null. Are you noticing these? The one that I'm mentioning?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
This is the these are the I mean these small kind of mismatches, or let me say some null values, missing values, something irrelevant spaces. I need to deal with it. Those are my cleaning thing. Those are my first things for my cleaning. I should clean them, all of these. Only then, after you have your cleaned data, it's better to do an analysis on the clean data rather than doing analysis on the uncleaned. Because if you are going to do the analysis on your uncleaned data, definitely your analysis or the end result, or maybe the whatever the insights that you are really wanting from your data, or what kind of answers that you want to get from your data, won't be accurate. So first and foremost thing that you should, whenever you are given a data to work on, you are supposed to clean the data. Kindly mute your mic. Who is it? Akshaya, can you mute your mic, ma? If you have any questions, do let me know. Any doubts?
No, ma'am.
Okay, then please mute your mic, ma. Thank you. Okay. So these null values you're supposed to deal with it. Few empties are there. But understand one thing, not every null value is irrelevant. Few null values could be very much valid also. For example, I'll give you a small example. You let me know whether that empty value or null value is like it's a relevant one or irrelevant one. Say, for example, the same kind of this employee data set, just like your start date, okay, like yeah, start date. I do have a under the column called end date. Now, few of the records, like few of the employees, are having the end date as spaces. Like no data is there for that end date for few employees. So, do you think that value, end date value, being spaces or not being even available, is it relevant or irrelevant?
Relevant.
It is relevant. Why relevant, sir?
Because it suggests that they are still continuing.
Ah, so end date is what? When the person leaves the company, he quits the company. Only when he quits the company, he has post his resignation and all, his end date will be updated onto the database. That's the first step. Of course, after some time, maybe from the database itself, the person's name would be deleted removed. That's separate. But if at all the end date has been blank, it's fine. It's absolutely fine. One more example also I can give you where date is being spaces. It's also fine. How I'll say you? Say suppose insurance or maybe let's say not insurance. Let's say loan. People are going to the bank and asking for loans, right? Now, say the bank employee is having a sheet of all the loans, maybe a specific loan, maybe a home loan, or he's dealing with maybe an automobile loan. Let's say automobile loan. He has the list of customers who are really have applied for a loan. Now, approval date for few customers can be empty. Why? Is it okay if it's empty? When would that date be populated? The approval date.
And once it is approved.
So why I gave these two examples is understand whether based on the data, based on the situation, whether the null or empty data is really valid or not. Of course, there is a concept that everyone says that yeah, you have to deal with the null values, you have to deal with the missing values. Not every missing, not every null value is to be dealt with. If you feel that is irrelevant, something it should have been actually available, but it's not there. In those cases, okay, we are going to kind of replace it. But replacing also only for a practice data, if you replace, it's all fine. But at your workplace, in your real time job, please don't go and blindly replace those values with some random numbers or random text or something. Don't do that because it will land you to a soup. You just have to communicate that so such and such missing values are there or null values are there to the team who has provided you the data. Okay. So once they give you a confirmation as to these are the actual values, maybe while transporting or while importing, some data has got lost. They give you the proper one after seeing, after cross checking. Then you might do an update or you might do a replacement. Okay. And any replacement also, you should have a formal communication, maybe through a mail or through a chat. You should have proof of that. Unless until you have it, you shouldn't go and do the changes on your own. Never. Okay, fine. So this is what I'm going to get connected. Let me close this for now. Maybe it won't allow me. 1 minute. Because my Power Query has been opened here. Na? So let me close this. Okay, now it will allow me to close. Okay, let me do one thing. Instead of launching the Power Query, Let me directly come here to from file, Excel workbook. It will open the Windows Explorer. I have to just locate the Excel workbook that I really want to connect to. It's in my local machine. Okay. For you people, you have to download that particular file from the Google Drive, save it onto your local machine, and then only you're going to connect to your local machine, that file wherever you have saved it, whichever folder you have saved it. Okay. I'll go to mine. Yeah. Import. It will open. See, wait. It should open a navigator for me. The first step is after I have selected the relevant data source, it will open a navigator screen. This is the navigator screen. It tells me this is the source that you really want to connect. The name of the source has been given here. And under that particular, it's an Excel workbook, no? So it just tells me data. I don't know if you have really noticed that when I opened this particular Excel workbook, the sheet name was data. Okay. And here, as of now, it says on the right hand side, no item selected for preview. Unless and until I select this data, it won't show me the preview. Okay. So I should do that. In case there are multiple sheets, you want to connect to multiple, so that's fine. You just have to click this, like select multiple items. Here, see, checkbox is coming up. Likewise, you will, if you have more sheets within the same workbook, just keep on ticking it. They'll all get selected. You can, one by one, you can see the preview. Now, first of all, to see the preview, you have to select the data. Moreover, previously you would have the same three buttons. They, except your cancel, rest two would have been in kind of grayed out manner. Okay, you wouldn't have been although you can see the button, but in grayed out format. So the moment they're really selecting it, you will get these options: load, transform data. Transform data will really connect you to the Power Query editor. Load is directly it will take you to the Power BI. But here it's not the Power BI. It will directly it will put it directly onto your Excel. No cleaning will be done. Unclean data will come to your Excel. That's not recommended. So first option over here, you are supposed to do the current transform data. Okay. See, Power Query editor is only opening. Earlier, when we had launched this particular Power Query editor, here the queries was 0 because no data was really imported. But now I have imported the data from an Excel workbook. The sheet name is data. Okay. Anyway, I'll refresh it. It is how, if you have a data, it will look like this only. Okay. Your tabs, many of the tabs, the options over here are very much active now. You're kind of live, you will be able to use them. Okay. You will, I mean, I will say a better word, you will be able to apply those features onto this data over here. Okay. Same for your tabs you're going to see. Okay. On to the, this is obviously data you can very well make out. I'll come to this in a bit. But what about here, right hand side, the query settings, the name of the file. Okay. I won't say even name of the file, that particular table. It could be the Excel sheet, Excel workbook can have data in two formats. I don't know if you are well versed with Excel. The ones who are well versed with Excel, they'll understand what's a table, what's a range of cells. Okay. Either of the ways, but slowly, if even if you don't have knowledge, no, not an issue. With our each and every day, you will understand how, I mean, the particular icon will really make you understand that it's a table or a sheet. Anyway, that's the name. You can edit that name. It's always suggested to give a customized name, a name. Seeing that name, anyone should be able to say, okay, this is the data all about. If somebody sees just data, what will they understand? But if I really have it like employee data, or maybe just employees, that's also enough. Much more a customized name, which makes it's easier for me to understand what that particular data is all about. Okay, below is your applied steps. Applied steps is whatever transformation is really going on here, it will be captured as a step over here. Okay, it's like a data pipeline, how the data is going through different steps, through different transformations and all. But here, first understand. Anyway, these things are quite the same in our Power BI also. Okay, I'll do one thing. I'll stop here for that Excel part. Let's go to the Power BI. Okay, but then one small thing many of them do ask me. Okay, anyway, a short brief I'll just go through, then we'll move on to our Power BI area. Same thing, everything is the same, don't worry. Now here, what is the source? What does it mean? 1 minute. I did zoom. How I did zoom means was control shift and plus sign. Okay. That's how I just zoomed it. What is it that you are really seeing here is source. Source means if you open this is the formula bar, you are very much, it looks quite similar to my Excel kind of a look, right? So it just tells me I have connected to an Excel workbook. After that, it says the file contents, that is the file path of this particular Excel workbook is this, my local machine. Okay, wherever this particular workbook, wherever in my maybe C drive, D drive, wherever I've saved it, it just shows me that particular path. Okay, so seeing this itself, anyone will be able to understand what is that particular source. Okay, we were the one who were making that connection. That's okay. I do know that I am really connecting to Excel, but some particular file is already been worked on. They are giving you for just kind of information. They're just saying just open it and have a understanding what is it all about. Maybe in your initial stage of your project, maybe some sort of a KT. These are some sample files. Open it and see what's all there in it. At that time, how will you really understand what is the source? You need to understand, right? So for that understanding only, go to the source in the apply steps. Always first step is source, which particular data source I am connecting. What is the type of data source? It will tell me over here. Okay, that's first thing. Second is you did see a navigator, right? Now, okay, one more thing. After you really understand this particular Excel, we are connecting to Excel workbook. There are few rows over here. You may put it like you just understand this as a metadata. Metadata is information about my data. Okay, data I am seeing in front of me. Okay, information about the data will be very much stored with that application. That's I won't be dealing with that data. That metadata, that extra information about that data file and all will be handled by the application for its own purpose. Okay, that's how you are seeing these four records or four lines over here. Now, 1 minute. If you see here, let me make it a bit smaller. These four records out of here, only the first one is not hidden. Because hidden means we all have this folder options in our laptop now where few files might be hidden. So this particular first row is not hidden. Rest all are hidden. So hidden as in it's something that's, again I'm saying it's metadata, data related to my data or information about my data which is been necessary for the Power Query editor or the application to work on with. So I have to connect to this only. How do we understand? Okay, at my front end, what I did, I had opened this when I selected that number one connecting to Excel, it opened a navigator for me. That navigator dialog box on the left hand side, I just selected that data. Right hand side, I saw the preview. Onto the bottom, I selected transform data. That's what I did. That was my job. But how Power Query understands that, you will just know now. Let me go to the navigation step. It will say from the source, previous step is source, previous step is source. I had selected that my job was just mouse click. But how has it got communicated to Power Query editor is item is equal to data, kind is equal to sheet. I'll make you understand. Item is equal to data, kind is equal to sheet. I cannot say data all table. No, you won't understand. This is the actual data which we are really going to get connected to. But to identify that particular row, as to which is that actual data that I'm going to work on with. Item is equal to data, kind is equal to sheet. This is from my source step. That's what navigation is doing, or the navigator is doing. Are you able to follow?
No, can you please come again?
Okay, what about source? Source you're able to understand?
Yes.
Okay, in source, if you see only the first row is visible, rest all are hidden. Do you understand this part?
Yep. Yep.
Okay, the one which is visible, I am supposed to get connected to that.
Yes.
When, if at all you remember, when I had selected that number one connecting with Excel, that particular file path I had, I mean, my Windows Explorer opened up, right? I had selected that number one connecting with Excel. You remember that part?
Yes, ma'am.
After doing that, one navigator screen or a navigator dialog box opened up. You want me to repeat? I can show you one more time. I'll just close
Yeah,
this
yeah,
and do
yeah,
it one
please.
more. See, get data. This is the first step. I am in Excel empty one. I'm just going to connect to an Excel workbook. This is my Explorer, right? I've just selected the concerned file. I'm saying import. Are you following, Ma?
Yes, yes, yes.
Who
Yes,
is
I'm
it?
following.
Somebody was asking, na? Would you mind
Yeah,
let me
Shalini.
knowing your name?
Shalini.
Okay, okay, fine. So I had selected the data from my Windows Explorer. I've done that. Import. This was your source step. Okay.
Okay.
Navigator has opened up. This is the second step, navigation.
Okay.
In here, I'm in this particular Excel workbook, only one sheet of data is there. So this, the one which I am doing with my mouse, I've just selected the one called data. This is what that navigation is doing. I am on my front end, I'm just selecting that sheet of data. Okay. But how does that, even that small mouse click is being identified or when communicated to the Power Query editor means it will see that first row which is not hidden, which is visible. It was telling me that your table is something was like item is sheet. 1 minute, ma. I'll come to transform data. Just a moment. Yeah, see, item is equal to data, kind is equal to sheet. This first row, ma. Got it? I
Yeah,
had
yes,
done
ma'am.
on that navigator screen or navigator dialog box. My job was just to select that data. That was my
Okay.
job. Mouse click. But I am the front end, we are doing a mouse click. But how is that communicated to Power Query Editor? Through this. It is just identifying the first row is not hidden. It's very much visible. But even how to identify, like, okay, I am, it could have told like hidden is equal to false. But how to pick up that row or how to identify that row? It has told like item is equal to data and kind is equal to sheet. Item is equal to data, kind is equal to sheet. From my previous step, which is source. Got it? Now?
Yes, ma'am. Yes. Yes, I'm clear.
Okay. Shall I move on now?
Yeah, yeah, please.
Okay. Now, one thing everyone please notice here. I am in the second step, right? Navigation. I am seeing here my first two records or first two rows. In column one, it says the first of all, the column headers are not correct. It just says column 1, 2, and 3. Ideally, what should have been there in that column headers area? Name, gender, department, right? Salary, location, and those should have been there. But my Excel workbook, purposefully only, first two rows have been kept as blank. Initially, it was written like Power Query. This whole of that row is all blank, like spaces. And the last one, it has been written like example #1. Second row is entirely spaces. Now, whatever is spaces or blank at my Excel workbook, When it gets loaded to the Power Query editor, it's been loaded as null. Okay, blank or spaces, it gets loaded as null to my Power Query editor. That's first thing. I should get rid of these two records or these two top rows. It's not necessary. It's not a relevant data for me. Okay, for that only the step is called promoted headers. Okay, first that's the name of it. But if I go to the promoted headers, what it does, my first of all, promoted headers means whichever is the first row, Power Query doesn't understand it's a relevant or not. I understand whether it's relevant or not. Okay. I have to give instructions to Power Query editor the proper way. It's just like we all say, na, computer has to be dealt with. It's not human. We are human. We understand things. We have to give proper commands to my computer so that it works in the proper manner. Similar way, I do understand that my first two rows are irrelevant. Actually, my third row should have been in the headers position. Am I right?
Yes.
Although it has applied on its own promoted headers step, it is wrong. First, do you understand why it is wrong? Everyone. Yes, no? Okay. Then we'll deal with it. How to remove them and all. I'll show in the Power BI only. I won't come here. But just I want to make you all understand with a few basic things over here. And whenever the promoted headers, like just understand the meaning, na? Promoted, even don't have to memorize. Just see the words, understand the basic meaning. Promoted header, like promotion of my headers. It's going my first row, whichever is there in my data as my first row, that's going to get promoted to the headers position. And in Power Query Editor, whenever you are going to apply promoted headers, whether you do that particular step, you apply that step, or Power Query on its own, like in this time, like now when I got connected to this, connecting to Excel number one, it has applied this promoted headers on its own. Whether I do it or Power Query Editor does it, your change type step will be applied on its own. Like those are like BFFs. Okay. Whenever that promoted headers will be applied, automatically change type. Change type is what? Just see here. It's all ABC 123. ABC 123 is your general. Okay. Yeah, general data type. Now it's just going to identify the values in any particular column based on the type data, the values that particular column is holding. It's going to do the change type step. We have to be very careful with the change type step. Why I'm saying is that many of the time, even though it's been applied on its own, it's better that we confirm, we kind of cross check whether things are all okay or not. Because every other data type has got its own computations and manipulations, right? So we have to be careful on that. Okay. I will come to this part a bit later. So these four steps in general will always be applied. You will see in that applied steps, these four steps by default to any of the queries. Even if you don't do any sort of transformation, it has to be there because I am connecting to a specific source of data. I am navigating, like I am really selecting that particular data, like navigation step, like navigator screen is opening up for me. I select the data, then I come here to my Power Query. Then automatically my promoted headers is being applied and also the change type. These four steps will be there by default whenever you're going to connect to any type of data source. It's not specific to Excel. To any data source that you're going to get connected to, you will be seeing these four applied steps. Okay, onto the bottom, you're seeing 7 columns. It tells me how many ever columns and rows are there. It will tell you. Now, if you have less than 1,000, it will show you directly, but here it's more than 1,000. That's why 999 plus. I don't remember how, maybe some 3,000 odd is there. Okay. Don't worry about that. That's there. Then you have something called your column profiling based on top 1,000 rows. There are two options over here. Anyway, I'll come to that. I'm just leaving it for now. I will talk about that when we connect to our Power BI, like Power Query Editor from Power BI. Okay. Now, just one last thing before I close this Excel workbook. Let's assume we have done all the transformations, like all the cleaning part we have done. I'm not going to do now, just assume for some time. What am I supposed to do is, onto this file or home, both options are there. You have something called close and load, right? You may access it from file tab or even the home tab. You have got your close and load. Just select that first option. On the moment you do that, see here, it will come here. Give it some moment. See. It almost looks like a table, like a proper, like after you had since if you have already cleaned it, all this name and all headers will come to the top and all cleaned data will be there. You can really move ahead with this because using, a Power Query for your data cleaning is much more faster and easier compared to cleaning the data manually. Just for example, I don't know how many of you really know the functions of Excel functions, but for second, just imagine if you have to write manually some function to get rid of this unnecessary space, and you have to really apply that for each and every column. That's going to take a good time of yours. But instead of that, if you are really connecting to Power Query and doing the transformations, it will be much more faster. Job will be very much, easier enough. Your efforts will be very much less. Maybe you may not be able to understand the weightage of what I'm trying to tell you now. Maybe after our 10 to 15 classes of our Power Query, you will definitely understand what I'm trying to say. In Excellent, it will look like this only. Your queries, where it says the sheet, how many rows are there. Okay. Connections, 1 minute. So connections is what? Your Power Query connections, those only, and your queries. How many ever queries you would have got connected to, that's what is going to show you here. At times, what you can do is right click, see here. If you want to go back to your Power Query editor, just, array, now, if you just hover your mouse over that particular query, you will see here all of this. If you want to open your Power Query, means just come here, edit, it will open your Power Query editor. Or else right click, edit will also take you to the Power Query editor. If at all you want to load to a pivot table, that's also possible. Okay, pivot table, you may create a pivot chart or just a connection, because connection, if it's there, you may load it to a table, you might load it to a like a Excel table or a pivot table, pivot chart. You can do that all later, no issues at all. You can even add this particular data to a data model. You will understand this bit later. I won't come here as of now. Today itself I won't go there. So at Excellent, this is how Power Query Editor looks like. How you're going to deal with it, it looks very much similar to this. I won't say it's very much similar. It is like this only. All good? Shall I move on?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, in that case, I'll just close this. I'll open my Power BI. See, home, as in you're seeing very much like you could blank report. It will open a blank one. Anyway, it has opened already a blank one only for you all. No, blank one only. Since it's blank, the same get data, you are going to see it over here also. This is your Power BI data. You may use this same way, like you have your file, then wait, home, various tabs are there which you are going to really use them for different purposes. This is your main canvas area where you're going to, like, after you get connected to a data, you clean it in your Power Query editor. And after once the clean data are loading to this Power BI area, you can use these icons to build in your charts, your reports, basically your visuals. Okay. Just a small overview. You have got three panes over here. PANE, pane. Filters, filters pane, visualization pane, and your data pane. As of now, data is not showing you here because you have really not got connected to any data. It's empty. You may connect to data through various options are there. You have like various like here you have get data. You might connect from here also. It gives me 2 to 3 options by default. You could go from here also. But compared to Excellent, you will have more like accessibility. Yesterday also we saw more than 100 data sources we can really connect to. So if I open this get data, see here, Excel workbook, your Power BI semantic models means you won't understand what is semantic model as of now. But then you have an online service, a Power BI service, right? So whenever you are going to publish any report of yours to the online service, it just gets loaded as two objects. One is your actual report, your visualizations and all. Another is nothing but your data, the tables, the columns, and something called your data model also. Whole package. The package is called your Power BI semantic models. You could given connect to one, maybe not yours. Maybe some colleague of yours or your team lead has worked on it. He is just sharing your his or her semantic model. You can connect to that also. Few more data flows are all related to your fabric area and all. We'll come to that later. You have your SQL server you can connect to. I don't have access to one. If I had, I would have shown you. Your text, like your notepad, CSV, web, okay, any website, blank or data feed, then blank query also. You can write some manual functions, you may write it, or any DAX functions, any manual functions you may really write to create one of your own. We do that. Then if you really go to this more, you will see more of it. More actually means more. Excel, JSON, folder, PDF, Parkey, SharePoint folder. SharePoint folder also, you may put your Excel files or PDF files and all. You may put it onto the SharePoint portal and you may access that particular SharePoint portal from here also. You could do that. But please understand, SharePoint you could access from your Teams app. Teams app, one that is for your work purpose, for your organizational purpose, not for your personal use. Because the one which is there for the organization, you should have a proper ID or organizational ID. Only then the Teams app with that work ID, you will be able to access the SharePoint portal. You could do that. Just say, suppose Hadoop you want to connect. It will show you, just click on it, see, HDFS. Say SAP, it will show you SAP or HAP, HANA and all is showing me. Say Oracle, I just have to type in the name, it will give me that particular one. Say my SQL, sorry, SQL. All types are going to get. Even my SQL database also it shows me. Postgres, maybe if you want. It will show you. Why not? Okay. So they just say you just name that particular source, you will really get connected to that. Okay. There are a good lot of it you can really see here. And even onto the left hand side also you can connect to a Fabric. It's actually a platform. You will get to know about it when we go to the Power BI service area, Azure, online service, any other also if you have, it may see. Okay. So really more than 100 resources or data sources you can really connect to. Okay, but now as of now, what do I want to get connected to is Excel workbook. So let me select that, connect. Same option, File Explorer or my Windows Explorer is opening up. I'll go to the one where it's my, yeah, connecting with Excel, open. Navigator is going to open up for me. Source step is done, Navigator is going to open up. See, until I select this data, no preview, even these two buttons are grayed out. The moment I select this, I'm going to see the preview of the data. Again, you're seeing here, first two rows are irrelevant. Load, if you want to, like if you are 100%, or even let me say, if you're 200% sure that your data is perfectly clean, no blank spaces, no null values, nothing, and everything is fine, means you can directly work with that data. You can directly put it onto this desktop, the Power View area, start working with your visuals. But if you have to clean, obviously transform data, it will open the Power Query editor for me. Hopefully you're seeing this. This is the only difference on my, see my, where my mouse is just hovering. Earlier you were seeing that from Excel end. Now you are seeing the same Power Query editor from your Power BI end. Same, the data, the name is data. I can really, it's better that I rename it. Okay, now see, first one, same thing. Sorry, yeah. Only the first record or first row is hidden. Sorry, it's not hidden, it's visible to me. But then source step, it's all about which source, data source I'm really connecting to. And as of now, the current file path is being mentioned here. And we are going to get connected to the first record using the navigator. Item is equal to data, kind is equal to sheet. Item is equal to data, kind is equal to sheet. Next, you are seeing first two rows are doesn't have any value, all null. Here in column 1 Power Query, onto the right hand side is your example #1. Next comes promoted headers. It's even wrong. Although promoted headers will come after navigation, but ideally this name, gender, this header should have been there. So this is not the correct one, although it is applied. Again, change type step also it has applied. These two steps are to be deleted, and then only we can really go ahead with kind of removing this first top two rows and then going from my promoting headers. One thing you all have to remember, that you don't have any undo button in Power Query Editor. If you want, you may try Control Z, even try for some anything over here. You don't have any undo action at all. You won't have undo action in Power Query Editor. If by mistake you have applied some transformation, please delete it, redo it. There is no other way. Okay, please remember this. So although these two steps have been applied, it's wrong as mentioned earlier. I'm just going to delete that step. So first two steps we are over here. Okay, first thing okay, let me delete these two. How am I going to do is, onto my top we are in the home tab, right? Over here, you can see something called remove rows. Expand that, remove top rows, select that. Number of rows to be removed from top is just 2. I'll mention 2 and say okay. My top 2 rows are removed. Now, whatever you are seeing here, maybe when we are seeing source as excel.workbook, navigation we are seeing source, and within brackets few things are mentioned. Over here in the third step, remove top rows, the mentioned step name is mentioned as remove top rows, but here it's nothing but my M language is being written in the background. Okay, so whatever transformation or whatever changes you're going to do with your mouse click, automatically in the background, I'm doing something in the foreground, all good. But in the background, M language is being written, the functions are being written. Okay, what is it doing? From the table, it's skipping, it's supposed to skip 2 rows. The 2 is over here. Okay, once we are done with this, we are seeing here my first row is actually my header row, right? So now I can, we are in this one, let me click outside. Okay. Now if you come here onto the same, like remove rows were here, just go to the right, you are going to see something called use first row as headers. That's what I'm going to apply now. 2 options are there. Either you apply the first row as headers, or maybe the headers has got some actual record. Headers are not available. Just my header at the header position, actual record is there. You may use the second option, but first option is more frequently used. Second is very rarely. You may use this option over here, or else if you go to the transform tab, you will see it under the second option also. You may choose either of the options over here. Okay, just select that. Promoted headers has been applied. And as I told you, change type step will be always like a BFF along with my promoted headers. So now I see proper header names over onto my that area. Not only that, I am seeing some change type. The data type has been changed. Okay, name, gender, department, all 3 are text. All good. Now, just if you click on this ABC, no right click, nothing, just a simple mouse click, you do that. You're going to see all data types that are being supported by Power BI. Okay. Or let me say over here till now, let me say it's Power Query. Okay. But the same options, the same data types you are going to see in your Power BI, that a main area, because your Power Query is a part of Power BI, right? Although it looks like they are different, but yes, maybe even they are used for different purposes. I agree that. But same data types have been there. We'll come to that in detail tomorrow. Okay. But then, yes, these 3 are my text. So ABC, here salary, it's in a decimal, right? So if I click on it, see decimal number. Okay, next comes location is a combination of my numbers as well as text. There is no such data type like alphanumeric in Power BI. Okay, either text or numbers. Okay, there is no alphanumeric, not a combination. It will always be ABC only here. Start date, date is there. And my last column is in fact all null over here. Even if I do load more, everything null. So it's better that I remove this particular column. Right click, remove. Also done. Okay. I'll stop here. Okay. We are to do this removal of these initial irrelevant spaces. We're supposed to deal with this null. If you come to gender, you will see 2 males, null and all you'll see. I'll repeat these steps tomorrow and show you what are the transformations that you can really do over here. Okay. In fact, what you're supposed to do over here, I'll tell you more about that. Okay.
Yeah.